social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective.
Just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Grace and peace, everybody. Happy Lord's Day to you all. Hopefully you had a wonderful Sunday. I know I did. Lots going on over here at Whitaker Park, but we are making it nonetheless. Doing a little quick audio check, making sure everything sounds right. And it looks like it is. It looks like it is. So, you know, you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. You know what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to talk about our friends, the Pookies. The Pookies are still out there in these streets. They still have not been arrested. The last two, and we're now well into the second week of the great New Orleans Pookie escape. And these guys still out there. They still running free. This is crazy. But since there isn't anything new per se to go over, I wanted to talk about some of the conditions in the prison. We talked about this on Thursday a little bit, but there's a little bit more information that's come up as it relates to the actual conditions inside the prison. I thought was super interesting. And as well, the former police chief in Arkansas that was convicted and serving 80 years for deleting somebody and assault. Well, remember, he escaped using a phony prison guard, correction guard's uniform. Well, we got a little bit of conversation about that, but no, they haven't found him either. So lots to unpack there. So we're going to jump over to our good friend Joe over at After Prison Podcast. Let's bring him in. After Prison Podcast. He does an excellent job. Fantastic content creator. I wouldn't mind meeting this guy. I feel like he has a very interesting story. He just seems like an interesting cat, to say the very least. And from what I've gleaned, he is a former resident of the Gray Bar Hotel. And he knows that there's plenty of room at the Hotel California. And but now he is out. He does a podcast talking about jail life and what's going on in jails and so on and so forth. So he's definitely been one of a great resource in this regard because we've been talking about this topic. So we'll be bringing him in as well. Shout out to Miss Mandy in the house. We got Emily in the building. Good to see you. Good to see you. Mandy says I sound good. Well, thank you so much, love. Appreciate you. Cruz is in the house. Thank you so much, Carolyn. How are you doing? Thank you so much, everybody. Go ahead and hit the like button. Jump into the best live chat on the internet. We got a quick review over here. We're going to jump in, talk with Joe, hear what's going on in jail life and what he's got to say about it. But then also I want to talk about a very interesting case that's going on here in my neck of the woods, and we'll talk about it. It's actually decriminalizing a particular activity that I didn't think we were going to do that in Georgia. And I'm kind of wondering if it is a good idea. So let's go with no further ado. Greenhearts in chat when you can hear.
I bring you guys this update. And tomorrow will mark 2 weeks since 10 prisoners escaped from a jail down in New Orleans. At this point, there are still 2 remaining fugitives at large, Antoine Massey and Derek Groves. But with the fact that these are the last 2 remaining fugitives from this elaborate jailbreak, where some of which was captured on surveillance footage, you begin to wonder, have these guys really gotten away? And will they remain at large? I'm sure only time will tell. There's 2 stories that I want to share from bringing you guys this update, and the first involves what's being referred to as the botched investigation that's taken place since this escape. It just don't seem like this New Orleans Justice Center and Sheriff's Department can get anything right. Headline that reads, botched crime scene handling could derail prosecution of Orleans Parish jail escapees. The district attorney personally led crime scene technicians to collect evidence after sheriff failed to preserve after 10 inmates fled facility. How do you preserve a crime scene in a jail housing unit when you've got other inmates that are living in here, undoubtedly probably helping in any way that they can, wiping things down? There's not going to be fingerprints. Preserving any evidence is going to be a hard thing to do in a crime scene that you can't keep other people out of. I mean, you can't lock the doors. The locks don't work, even for the particular cell where these guys escaped from. The biggest point of this story, I'm not going to share this whole thing, I've already read through this, is one particular piece to this. Actually, make that two, because here's another headline about the same particular thing, saying the DA, Jason Williams, says crime scene sat untouched for days after Orleans Parish jail escape. Are you kidding me? You know, here I was thinking that they just failed to preserve this thing, meaning like they couldn't keep the prisoners out of the crime scene. Man, it sounds like from this particular headline, they didn't even go in there to try to collect any evidence. Williams said crime lab began processing the plumbing corridor behind the toilet where the escape began, collecting evidence critical to any future prosecution. These pieces of evidence tell a story, Williams said. That's the type of evidence that a jury is going to be looking for when it's time to hold somebody accountable, and we need to make sure we're holding the right people. Williams criticized the delay in evidence collection and said his office is now requesting voluntary DNA and fingerprint samples from all Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office staff and maintenance worker. The faster we get those things, the faster we can process this and figure out who may have touched something. The bigger point to all of this that really struck me, and I can't find it right this second, but I had read about it. They said, look, it's a jail housing unit crime scene. You're not going to be able to preserve this thing, but so much. The fact that this sat untouched for days due to the sheriff's department not doing anything is bad enough, but when it comes to a court proceeding, you need to be able to go into court and show that you tried in every measurable way to investigate this crime scene. Moving on to something else in relation to the New Orleans escape. And let me start this with a bit of a cliffhanger. Folks, I'm working on something huge right this second, and it's my hope to be able to bring that to you very soon. But I recently ran across information talking about what the jail is like for prisoners who are still housed there. You know, nobody's going to give a damn about prisoners right this second, given the fact that so many have escaped and there's nationwide manhunts, and we're talking about fugitives and escapees and people being captured. I mean, this shit sounds wild. But what about prisoners who are just trying to serve their time or serving their time regardless in this jail? They haven't escaped. What is time like for them now, given all that has taken place in this jail? Has the jail been on lockdown since? Are other prisoners being punished due to this escape that only 10 prisoners, I say only 10, that's a shitload of prisoners to be escaping. There's 1,400 prisoners being housed at this Orleans Justice Center. Are all of them being punished because of what 10 prisoners did? And there's a high likelihood that that is the case. However, I want to talk about something you may not have even thought about. Folks, when these 10 prisoners escaped, the water had to get cut off. Pipes had to get sawed with hair clippers. The jail, allegedly, at this time, has massive plumbing issues, flooding, and no water readily available for the rest of this jail population of 1,400 prisoners. New Orleans jail, site of brazen inmate escape, faces flooding and plumbing failures. The New Orleans jail, where 10 inmates escaped from earlier this month, is experiencing significant flooding from what the sheriff called ongoing and severe plumbing failures. The New Orleans jail, that gained national attention for a brazen escape of 10 inmates earlier this month, is experiencing significant flooding from ongoing and severe plumbing failures, the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office says. Embattled Sheriff Susan Hudson and her deputies have portrayed the bold jailbreak, one of the largest in recent U.S. history, as the result of an ailing facility in dire need of repairs and improvements, such as replacing faulty locks. State and local officials have generally disputed Hudson's characterization of the $150 million state-of-the-art facility built in 2015 and blamed the sheriff's leadership since taking office in 2022. The jail.
So let me just stop for a second, because when you add, I mean, you can build the most beautiful edifice. If you've ever been overseas and been to a chapel, a museum, anything like that, that's very famous, has lots and lots of foot traffic, you can't walk but certain places. You can't go everywhere within that building and willy-nilly. You can't touch everything. You can't walk everywhere. You can't talk everywhere. You can't do all of that stuff. Can't carry food and can't take pictures and no flash. There's reasons why, because the sheer volume of humans is going to wear that place out. We went to the Tower of Pisa when we went to Europe. And you can walk to the top of the Tower of Pisa. I have pictures. If you want to, let me know. I'll show you some of those pictures when the girls were much younger. But walking up to the top of the Tower of Pisa, the steps, these marble steps, are worn down right in the middle. Why? Because hundreds and thousands, dare I say millions of people have walked up to the top of that thing to look out over Pisa. And so it's worn down. Now, did they ever intend that when they built the Tower of Pisa? Of course not. They didn't expect and think that this many people would walk up those stairs, and the stairs are now warped in the middle, where it's just worn down. All those foot treads, day upon day upon day. And so back to my point, you can't expect that a build, and this is with people who are trying to behave correctly. These are people that are trying to, be tourists and just check it out. They're not trying to do any crimes. As far as I remember, I don't even remember seeing like graffiti or people etching their names, or even gum, for crying out loud, inside the Tower of Pisa. I have to remember that. I don't think so. So for the most part, it was well taken care of. It's just, there's just a lot of humans walking around here. And so if you look at a jail with people who are, some of these people don't care about society. That's why they're in jail. Well, you could kind of expect and believe that they would wear down a building just on GP alone. I mean, if you hear some of the stories about how they were breaking those doors, these people are pretty creative. I mean, they're pretty creative. So they want to destroy that building. And so I'm not necessarily I'm not against the sheriff in this regard, that she needs extra money to maintain the building, just like they would need extra money to maintain those steps in the Tower of Pisa. Not because primarily because the initial architects were bad, or they used faulty equipment or faulty materials. It's just the sheer volume of humans. And when you look at a jail, I mean, these are different kinds of humans. Let's tell the truth. And you've seen this in everything from schools to parks to cars, everywhere. Just the sheer wear and tear is going to be different based upon who's using it. I'm pretty sure a NASCAR or an Indy 500 vehicle, the wear and tear on the engine is significantly different than mine and my car, yours and your car, unless you live here in Atlanta, but I digress. Let's go.
Jail system has been under the oversight of a federal judge and the U.S. Justice Department since 2013. This embattled sheriff, Susan Hudson, under so much scrutiny right now for this jailbreak taking place on her watch. Just to play devil's advocate a bit here, and not to seem like I'm trying to side with this sheriff, but if you've been yelling out to anybody that would listen about the issues in this jail involving the plumbing, involving the locks, and nobody's listening, maybe that really should be taken into consideration here. And just because this facility was built in 2015, touting a reputation, allegedly state-of-the-art facility, $150 million state-of-the-art facility at that, we're talking about a facility that's 10 years old. If you don't have the money to fix the shit that there's issues with, it's going to be faulty. Now, granted, a lack of staff and staff not on doing their job, even manning the control room where the cameras are viewed at, that's a problem. But I've seen places that are built less than a year old fall apart. So it's not a far stretch to think that a 10-year-old facility could be crumbling. Shit ain't built the same anymore. And even though we're talking about a $150 million state-of-the-art facility, just because you spent all that money doesn't necessarily mean you're getting what you paid for. These recurring plumbing issues highlight a much deeper infrastructure crisis at the Orleans Justice Center, rooted in years of deferred maintenance, chronic overcrowding, and a lack of meaningful investment, Hudson said in a statement Wednesday. This is not just a facilities problem, it's a public safety issue, and most of all, a human dignity issue. The sheriff's office renewed calls this week for immediate and sustained infrastructure investment, saying jail flooding and other issues were both foreseeable and preventable. It said it requires at least $13 million in urgent fixes, and that requests for help have been made repeatedly to city officials. But New Orleans City Council members questioned management of the jail last week during a tense meeting and argued the sheriff's office requires greater transparency and accountability. The city's chief administrative officer also noted the department has received a larger proportionate increase in funding since 2019 than any other public safety agency in the city. Oh, shit. You're getting money. What are you doing with it? Over the weekend, in a seemingly unrelated incident, the jail received emergency repairs as water pooled, and the facility remains forced to rely on an external water supply. As of Wednesday, the sheriff's office said, folks, it is Thursday, and they're relying on an external water supply. What are we even talking about here? I've heard reports that
garden hose. Like, what is the external water source? Do they get all their water? Is there ever water that's not external? This is just too many questions.
No water in this facility. Inmates can't take showers, can't flush toilets. What are they drinking? It's just kind of crazy to think that the brunt of the population in this jail is being punished for the actions of only 10. That's all that I've got in relation to the New Orleans jail escape. And
so let me ask a question. Do you feel like are the other inmates being punished for the deeds of the 10 that got away, the 8 that were captured and the 2 that are still out? Are they being punished for that? Or is everybody being punished because of poor leadership, poor maintenance, lack of support? I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't know if I agree that the residents of the Gray Bar Hotel are being punished because of the 10. I think they're really more being punished because of lack of leadership or maintenance and stuff like that. I mean, and I'm pretty sure these guys are trying their best to tear that building apart. I'm pretty sure they're doing their very best. But let's let them finish up, because we're going to look at the former police chief. I think he's called the demon of the Ozark or something like that. The monster of the Ozark. He says it. Let's see.
Again, 2 fugitives still remain at large. When will they be apprehended? Will they be apprehended? Questions we're just going to have to wait for the answers for. I want to move on to the other big escape involving a prisoner in Arkansas, former police chief Grant Hardin, who escaped from a prison that is in the middle of nowhere on this past Sunday afternoon around 3:40, disguised in a makeshift law enforcement attire. It's interesting the way that they say this guy was dressed up as law enforcement, and they don't say that he had a correctional officer's uniform on. I don't know why they try to put so much separation between just saying this guy created his own guard uniform, and they're wording it the way that they are. Grant Hardin was featured in a
I think it's interesting. You're going to talk about that documentary in a second. I think it's interesting. They only show you, let me just back up. They only show you this picture, but am I to believe that you can't see him? They didn't record him going out the gate. I might want to just see all of it. Let's just see where he went, because also with that, he's going to bring it up in a second. This jail is in the middle of nowhere. You're not just walking out the gate and then popping into McDonald's or rolling up on a Starbucks. It's in the literal middle of nowhere. So that's an obvious question. I think we're all probably asking it now too. How did he get away if it's in the middle of nowhere? Watch this. Let's go.
It the way that they are. Grant Hardin was featured in a documentary called The Devil in the Ozarks. Former police chief. He had a murder and rape charge. He was serving a prison sentence of 80 years, and Buddy didn't have anything to lose. To think that this guy was able to just dress up, cosplay a prison guard, and walk right out through the Sally Port, the front gate of this facility, is absolutely insane to think about.
Diabolical.
When you look at the picture, the one surveillance still shot that they've shared with the media, you can see this guy pulling a cart. It looks like there's something on the cart. But one of the things there looks to be some sort of a box. I'm wondering if those are his supplies that he's going to need to get away. I also hadn't heard anything in relation to how long it was before the facility realized this guy was missing. Up until now, I just recently read that it was only, allegedly, 15 to 20 minutes before they realized this guy was gone. Now, when I hear that, I immediately think he had to have a vehicle waiting outside of the gates. There's no way.
Yeah.
With as remote of a location as...
Okay, look at where this place is. I mean, it is in, let me bring it up larger for y'all. Look at this place, man. This place is in the sticks. How does he get away? Like, where do you go? Like, there's nothing here but trees. There's no Walmart here. I don't see a Dunkin'. There's no Advanced Auto Parts. There's no mall. This place is in the middle of the sticks. Where did he go? Where did my guy go? So they're actually going to ruminate about this. So let's let them tease it out some. So matter of fact, like, do you think he made a run for it? Or do you think he is in the area? There's a lot of discussion about him still being in this relative 3, 4, 5 mile radius of the jail. Like, he hasn't gone anywhere, as people are projecting. And Joe's going to bring it up in the video as well. I mean, how did he get away? I'm just finding it so hard to believe that they don't have evidence that he had assistance or he just literally walked off into the sunset. Like, how do you know? How did he get away? Just too much. Okay, let's go. Because I think if they answered that question, we would know whether or not he had assistance inside, not just assistance outside. His aunt left the car, running, but did somebody help him get out of the, did he go through employee parking? Did he just walk out of employee parking? Was there a car in employee parking? Did he steal somebody's car? How do you know that if it only took 15 minutes? That's not a long period of time at all. We ain't talking about 8 hours, kind of like the New Orleans Pookies. So this Jim Bob got a run on it in 15 minutes. That's all he had. A quarter of an hour. That's not a lot of time. I'm just saying, what happened? Okay, let's go.
Is where this prison is located at. This guy...
Okay, let's see. Where's the next city? It's hard. Let me make this bigger for y'all as well. Okay, it's hard to tell. There's a liquor store over there. And this looks like some kind of airfield right here. Immediate, this is like an airfield, but I mean, I doubt highly that he's out flying planes. But how did he get from here? Here's the jail. Like, how did he get away without y'all seeing it? How did he do that? I mean, this is such an interesting story. I'm truly interested in seeing how this all shakes out. Okay, let's get done with Joe. Let's get done. Let's go. Almost there.
I were to just walk out through the front gates and then just try to hightail and book it through what is being referred to as rugged terrain. There's just no way you're getting away.
Right.
The blockade, the perimeter that they are going to establish around this facility, that net is going to tighten. They're going to catch this guy. But they also mentioned that it was bad weather during this time. Rain has kind of washed away the trail that maybe a dog would be able to pick up the scent of. It is believed, as we're getting ready to hear in the story I'm about to share with you guys, that this guy is still in the area. That's wild. If you went through all of this to get out,
right,
and you didn't have a ride waiting on you, buddy, what the hell? Arkansas Department of Correction gives a Wednesday update on Izard County escapee. I'm guessing Izard County is where this prison is located at. A Wednesday news conference by the Arkansas Department of Corrections gave an update on the escapee from Izard County's North Central Unit Prison. DOC Communications Director Rand Champion said that law enforcement has been working around the clock to track escapee Grant Harden. Champion said searchers are focusing on the immediate area around the prison and will continue to do so until evidence shows he's no longer in the area. Hearing something like that makes me believe that they have evidence that he's still in the area. But they're saying they don't have any evidence that he's not still in the area. I'm having a hard, like, what evidence would you have? If there was a car waiting for this guy down the road, what do you think you're going to have? Like some burnout marks of this guy driving off into the sunset? Hardin escaped on Sunday night by walking through the unit's main security entrance. He didn't even walk out the side door, the back door. Buddy walked right out through the front effing gate. You know, at least in New Orleans. Not trying to compare apples to oranges here, but at least in New Orleans, I mean, they had to remove the sink and toilet just like they did in that TV show Prison Break. Use a pair of hair trimmers for undoubtedly 3 to 6 months trying to cut through a wall. This guy.
Okay, I want to stop because that is the very first time I've heard anybody insinuate that this jailbreak had been theorized for 3 to 6 months. That is significantly different than what we've ever heard before. Now, Joe is not an expert. He's not there in Orleans or anything of that nature. But this is the first person I've heard say they've been working on this for 3 to 6 months. Because I'd kind of theorized, like, there's no way that you cut through that that jail bar in just an hour. There's just no way. And when we looked at it the other day, it doesn't look like that had been a rush job. There's no filings on the floor or anything of that nature, residue. So this, I do believe it's been a long tail. I believe this it's been known by the prisoners that they can remove the sink, they can pass stuff through the wall. If somebody's a shady fellow like that, want to get a phone in there, this is how you would do it. I think people are aware of that. So I don't think this is new at all. So this is my very first time hearing somebody say that it was 3 to 6 months. Shout out to Joe. Here, I'm going to back up just a little smidgen. Shout out to Prison Break right there.
3 to 6 months trying to cut through a wall. This guy, he just walked right out the front gate. Hey, yo, roll them. Hey, roll them gates for me. I'm clocking out for the day. Matter of fact, for the last time. One of the investigations currently underway is how Hardin was able to fabricate what he was wearing, Champion said. I got to imagine, though, that he was probably able, some kind of a way, to at least snatch and steal one piece that was needed. But maybe not. Maybe he made everything himself. Late night sitting in a cell, sewing, needle and thread, using coffee to dye white t-shirts black. Champion continued that until searchers find something to disprove it, the current assumption is Hardin is still wearing the dark pants and shirt seen in the security video from the prison. Because Calico Rock is so rural, searchers are challenged to check possible hiding places such as caves, abandoned vehicles, or abandoned dwellings. He said, man, this shit sounds like frickin' Shutter Island, where this guy escaped from. Champion added that due to the rural search areas, searches must be coordinated to prevent searchers from blocking roads and intersections. I would imagine that's exactly what you're trying to do. The DOC has a robust canine search team, Champion said, but it's having some difficulties due to the recent heavy rains. Accompanying low clouds are also slowing the use of drones and helicopters for aerial searches, he said. They've got all these means to be able to try to find you, but Mother Nature had other intentions. The DOC is leading the search, he said, but federal, state, and local agencies are assisting, including state police, FBI, U.S. Marshals, Arkansas Game and Fish, deputies from 2 counties, and local law enforcement. Hundreds are searching for Hardin. Does he have access to a phone right now? And more importantly, social media. Can you imagine this guy laying low somewhere right now in a cave with a prepaid burner phone, scouring social media and the internet, keeping tabs on this search to try to apprehend him? Checkpoints are currently being run throughout the area, Champion said, with as many as 10 operating at one point. Because Hardin was serving a 30-year sentence for murder and He has nothing to lose and said law enforcement is being careful. A second challenge was that Hardin, a former police chief and officer, would know how searches are conducted and would better understand how to evade, he said. The DOC continues to say that anyone who spots or has a tip on Hardin should call 911 and not approach him. Folks, unbelievable amount of escape stuff taking place right now. And again, I've shared with you guys, it's escape season. It's getting ready to be the summertime, and ain't nobody got time for jail. I can all but guarantee you this is not the last that we're going to be hearing of prisoners breaking out. They're motivated by these stories that they're reading, by the things that they're seeing on TV. Freaking commercials will motivate you. A song on the radio will motivate a guy to say, you know what? I ain't got time for this. Yeah, it's going to be a 5-year addition to my sentence if they catch me, but I'm willing to risk that because I need to get back out there right now for whatever the reason, whatever the rationale. There's another escape in Ohio currently underway for 3 of 4 prisoners who escaped from a minimum security facility. 3 of those escapees are still on the run right now. We've got 2 on the run still from the 10 in New Orleans. And then we've got this big escape right here taking place. This massive manhunt underway to capture this horrendous individual. Folks, that's all that we have right this second. I just wanted to bring you guys this update. Hope that you found some interest and enjoyment in this video. And if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you think of all of this. If you've been enjoying these videos and are not yet subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so and turning on bell notifications so that you never miss an upload. It would certainly be appreciated and would go a long ways to helping to support this channel. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace.
I like Joe. I like him, man. Shout out to Joe. If the mods could please go ahead and drop Joe's link in the chat, that'd be super dope. All right. Now, I know we said we don't have anything really to talk about in the New Orleans case. We do have one little snippet, one little nugget that might find a value, and it is centered around the accomplices. But before we get too far afield, welcome to all of the new members that have just been inducted into the Dear Woke Christian Gang. You've been, I just dropped 5 new memberships. Please make sure that you check out the community post on how to join the Discord. Thank you so very much. And welcome to the gang. Shout out to y'all. Now, I do got 5 more. So we go ahead and let's go ahead and make sure that we get those likes where they need to be. At the current moment, I got 27 people watching. Can I get 27 likes? You think I can do that? Can your boy get 27 likes? Maybe, possibly. Help him out over here. All right. Once I get the, actually, I'm sorry. I got 21 people watching. I got 16 likes. Once I get that, I'll go ahead and drop that last 5. We'll do that as well. But okay, let's talk about this. This is interesting. So we talked about the accomplices, and some of those accomplices, they got $1 million bonds, $1.5 million, $2 million, $2.5 million bonds. But there were some that got some relatively reasonable bonds because they, interjected themselves into the lives of these criminals, these Pookies. Now, I personally don't think that this is fair. I'll be honest with you. I don't think that what we're about to watch, and we can talk about it in a second, if you think it's fair. Listen to how much one person got as it relates to bond versus another person, and then listen to what they actually did to help these Pookies escape and evade law enforcement. Now, I think everybody that they helped has actually been arrested. I'm almost certain, but we'll double check that as well. But I'm gonna bring this in. Let me know what you think about it. Of course, green hearts in the chat when you can hear. Let's bring it in. Let's go. All right, green hearts in the chat when you can hear. Let's go.
Two of the people accused of helping the inmates who escaped from the Orleans Justice Center 2 weeks ago have bonded out of jail. A dozen more are still in custody tonight, as are 8 of the 10 inmates. Rachel Hanley walks us through the latest on the search for those remaining escapees.
$15,000 and $100,000. That's how much 2 people paid to bond out after they were accused of giving help to 2 escaped inmates. One got out Saturday. Connie Whedon has been in jail in St. Tammany Parish for more than a week. Police say she was in contact with Jermaine Donald before and after he escaped. They also say she sent him money through a cell phone app. Her bond was set at $100,000 for one felony count of accessory after the fact. Donald was one of...
Okay, so she sent him money through, I don't know, Zelle, PayPal, whatever. Okay, just remember that.
2 inmates caught in Texas this past week. Police say he and Leo Tate led them on a high-speed chase through the Huntsville area. They were both arrested, and Friday they were extradited to Angola. The other suspected accomplice got out Friday. That's Veen Nguyen, who was booked in Baton Rouge on a $15,000 bond.
Okay, now his bond was $15,000. Now you would think that somebody who's getting hit with a $15,000 bond probably did less than send somebody some money on Cash App, because the woman that sent the man money on Cash App, she was hit with $100,000 bond, right? Well, let me know what y'all think about this.
One of the inmates, Lenton Van Buren, was captured there this past week. After, agents got an arrest warrant for Nguyen. It says he reserved a room under his own name at a Super 6 motel, and a key to that room was found on Van Buren's person when he was arrested. Security video also shows Nguyen and someone in the same clothes Van Buren was wearing when he was arrested walking toward that room. As of now, Whedon and Nguyen are 2 of at least 14 people facing charges for allegedly helping the inmates. From what we can tell, they're the only ones who have bonded out. That's not a big surprise, considering most of the bonds for the other suspects are a lot higher than theirs. Some are set at $1 million. 2 are even set at $2.5 million each.
Thanks so much, Rachel. Again, those 2 inmates remain on the run tonight, Antoine Massey and Derek Groves. Crime Stoppers has a $50,000 reward on the table for anyone with information that leads to Massey or Groves' arrest. And in order to get that reward, you'll need to call both the FBI and Crime Stoppers.
All right, make sure you call the FBI and Crime Stoppers, y'all. But don't be prank calling them. Don't be prank calling them. Don't be doing that stuff. But the dude literally booked a room, walked the dude to the room, and he only got $15,000. Grandma sent the boy some money on Cash App, and she got $100,000. I'm sorry. I don't think that's right. I'm sorry. I do not think that's fair. My dude did way more. The Asian fellow did way more than what Grandma did. Now, unless Grandma sent like, $80K or something crazy like that, I don't understand that. I don't understand why Grandma had to get a $100,000 bond while this dude got $15K. That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense to me at all. But I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, thankfully Grandma got out. I don't personally, I think hers is a crime of a parent, wanting to help, just sending somebody. Yeah. I could almost see the argumentation being like, I thought I was sending the money to his books in jail. Like, now that might be a reach though, but you know what I'm saying? All right, what y'all thinking? What she say right here? Not Nana. Yeah, they got it. That is wrong. Grandma probably didn't even know what Grandma was doing. Bless her heart. That's what inmates do, man. Absolutely. No, I agree. That's complete. I don't see the fair and equal weights. Like these other people, they throwing them in there for $2.5 million, which is crazy too, by the way. Let me just say that. That's crazy. But hey, if they want to make sure that they they're relaying a message, I got you. But 15 and 100, I don't see that. Just seems way out of order. She probably did raise them. That's probably fair. And she probably just trying to help them out. I got you. She's wrong. I'm not saying that she's right for doing it, but I could hear the argument like she thought she was sending the money to his books, to his commissary. She thought that's what it was. But the dude literally booked the room for himself in his name, brought Brother Man there. Like that's a whole nother deal. That's a whole nother deal, in my opinion. He did way more than just send some money. What's this right here? They doing way too much. Absolutely. West Virginia Wire? Absolutely. They doing the most. Okay, so tonight, I want to have a conversation with y'all. I don't think we've ever talked about this topic. Maybe we have. Maybe we've talked about it to some degree, shape, or form. Since we're talking about crimes and people doing crime stuff, I don't know how I feel about this. You know what? I'm just going to put it on the screen and I'll read it. But I'm just going to put it on the screen and let y'all see it. I'm very conflicted. Now, I want to let you know this city is just a stone's throw from me right now. Like a true is up the street around the corner from where Dear Woke Christian is, from Whitaker Park. Like this place is not far from me at all. So let's do it. Here it is. I'm gonna put it on the screen, let y'all see it. Kennesaw City Council considers decriminalization of the wacky tobacco, reducing fines and sentences. This is really literally up the street from me. I don't like this at all. I think this is a bad idea. Now, mind you, many people don't know, but Kennesaw was in the news probably about a decade ago that they instituted an ordinance that strongly encouraged homeowners to be gun owners, to have their license. They're in Kennesaw. And so that was a big deal, maybe about 15 years ago. It was a big deal that Kennesaw was doing that. So Kennesaw be coming up with some of the wildest stuff. I ain't gonna even lie. They be coming up with some wild things. But this right here, I don't like this at all. Let me read it to you. Let's talk about it real quick. I want to hear what y'all think about it. Kennesaw City Council members discussed reducing the punishments for that wacky devil's lettuce possession to possible community service and a small fine. The devil's lettuce decriminalization discussion was prompted by councilperson Antonio Gutierrez. He said Georgia as a state was behind the times when it comes to legalization, and Kennesaw should take steps to modernize the approach to how it handles the devil's lettuce, the ganja, in the city. I think this is such a bad idea. This is such a bad idea. I honestly can't think of an idea that's more badder than this. I just can't think of one. Couple reasons. Let me tell you a couple reasons why. Notice this right here. We're talking about the city of Kennesaw, but the city of Kennesaw is in what's called Cobb County. And you see this is Cobb County right here. It's so that means that in the city of Kennesaw, this is what they're talking about, allowing you to get your Snoop Dogg on, allowing you to sing backup for Willie Nelson, right? The problem is the city limits of Kennesaw is where the end of this would be. Once you leave out of Kennesaw, if you're heading to the south, you're in Marietta. That's where Dear Woke Christian lives. There's going to be a problem because in Marietta, they don't do this. So you could literally be fine and dandy in Kennesaw, cross over a street and a railroad track and be locked up in Marietta. This is a horrible idea. This is atrocious. Now, granted, I don't think they will allow you to ever drive a vehicle and to be taking in the unholy smoke. However, that ain't stopped nobody from doing it. Okay. If you drive around here in Atlanta, you know what I'm talking about. Get into some traffic, you'll know what I'm talking about. So this is such a bad idea. Let's finish this up. If the council drafts legislation based on the talks is passed, the decriminalization effort will reduce fines from up to $1,000 and 1 year sentence to $35. Man, ain't that the price of a vape? Man, come on, man. And or communities. So not even, whoa. You could pay $35 and or community service for someone with less than an ounce of the wacky tobacco. Y'all, that is I'm sorry. No. I like freedom and liberty. This is not it. The version initially proposed would have also reduced the misdemeanor charges. During the discussion on Tuesday, Gutierrez said decriminalization was needed in relation to the importance of passing harm and reduction ordinance. Wait, what? During the discussion Tuesday, Gutierrez said decriminalization was needed in relation to the importance of passing a harm reduction ordinance, particularly concerning the usage of the street pharmaceutical and improving safety in the city. I have no idea how. Wouldn't it be an honest question? Because you can't sell it here in Georgia. As far as I know, you can't sell. I can't just grow devil's lettuce in Whitaker Park and then go out and sell it at the local farmer's market, which by itself is crazy. So how are they getting the devil's lettuce into Kennesaw to smoke it, decriminalize it? How are they getting it? It's a crime to do it. Y'all, this is these people, man. Like I tell you, man, even the kindness of the unrighteous is cruel. This is ridiculous because you're still going to create a crime. You're still doing a crime wherever you grow it, wherever you sell it, however you transport it. You're still doing a crime to get it into Kennesaw where they're not going to charge you for it. But you committed a crime to get it there. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just wonder. We live in upside down world. He was specific that it was not an effort to outright legalize. No, that's exactly how I am 100% confident. If we looked at Illinois has decriminalized pretty much all of it. California, I'm pretty sure if we go back to the embryonic stages of how did California get here? How did Illinois get here? In every other state that's totally decriminalized the use of the ganja, right? I bet you they all started out here. It might have been a city. And again, Kennesaw is very small. It's not, a metroplex. It's not Atlanta proper or anything like that. It's probably the 30th largest city. I want to check that out. What size? Let me see real quick. All right, real quick. Let's see what kind of trouble we're causing. All right, so I asked my office assistant to list the 30 largest, and Kennesaw is not in the. Wow, where's Kennesaw? Kennesaw, I was going to say not in the top 30, is literally the 29th. It's the 29th largest city in Georgia. Shout out to Marietta. Where's Marietta? Oh, Marietta's okay, 14. Okay, I mean that's cool. Shout out to Marietta. Yeah, so Kennesaw's not super large by any means or measures, and I'm pretty sure if you look at what isn't Colorado, I think Colorado's done away with all criminalization of the unholy lettuce, and it's such of that nature. I bet you they all started out like this. Some little small little. How many people in Kennesaw? Wait, Kennesaw has 33,000 people. So like the size of the University of Georgia, right? Like that's not a big city. So somewhere they just started it out there. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I'm 100% certain that's what happened. Let's finish this up. And I want to hear what y'all think about this. The wacky tobacco. All right. He was specific that this is not an effort outright to legalize. It's funny that he says outright. So you're trying to do a back door. So what you're trying to do is a slow burn, pun intended, in another direction. Legalize the devil's lettuce in Kennesaw, but they had the ability to modify the rules to lower the punishment. Gutierrez said, there's more. Gutierrez said that municipalities have passed their own guidelines in Georgia, including Atlanta, Athens, South Fulton, and others, and they're interested in Kennesaw following the trend. During the nearly hour and a half meeting, the council work session discussion on the devil's lettuce decriminalization took up roughly 50 minutes. Wow. Of a 90-minute discussion, 50 minutes was on whether or not we can allow y'all to have the wacky tobacco in the city. Gutierrez said decriminalization would be a way for Kennesaw to step forward. But what does that mean? Like, step forward in what way? I think this would be a horrible idea. An outright horrible idea. Again, y'all know I like to come up with ideas. I mean, I could see, oh my gosh, man, they have the Kennesaw Square. Most of the cities in Georgia have like a really vibrant downtown area. There's the Smyrna Square, Marietta Square, the Kennesaw Square. Dalton has a square. Athens has a square. There's all kinds of squares. And I can see, oh my gosh, I can just see it already. Canton Square having its own cigar bar, but it's the Unholy Lettuce cigar bar. And you can go in there and smoke the Unholy Lettuce. Oh my gosh. That is wow. Other members of the council agreed the monetary fine of up to 1,000 was high and had questions about how fines and fees and other misdemeanors compared, including giving alcohol to minors and street racing, among others. We have a horrible problem with street racing here in Georgia. Oh my gosh, that's yet another reason. Because you're impaired when you smoke the devil's lettuce, your impaired ratio is far longer than if you drink, a White Claw or chug back some Four Loko, or of course take some Hennessy. It's different. I mean, different. It's very different. So now this is just a bad idea. Yeah, I really am disappointed in this. I ain't gonna even lie. Shout out to Ground News. Shout out to y'all. Council member Madeline Ochenea noted that the fines for those other crimes were much less than the one for simply possession of less than an ounce of wacky tobacco or Mary Jane without intent to distribute. So as long as you have a manageable amount that you say you would smoke, that's crazy, y'all. Councilmember Pat Ferris said that Gutierrez asked Gutierrez why he brought up the issue, saying it is inherently political, especially this close to an election this fall, which is a good point. Ferris noted that regardless of the monetary fine, even $35 fine would mean you would have a criminal record for misdemeanor possession. So it was still a criminal charge. Good point. Gutierrez said that his focus was solely on possession versus driving under the influence. But people are going to be doing that though. Like, how would you could be impaired because you were smoking and it not register the same way as if you were impaired if you were drinking alcohol, which he says not open and reducing the penalties for. But you could be just as dangerous driving under the influence of a narcotic as if you had chugged back, a whole smooth six-pack. But it doesn't register the same way. So when the officer pulls you over and says, "Hey, have you been drinking tonight?" Nope, I haven't. But I've been sitting there chugging them back. Smoking them up. Of course, they would still smell it. They could pull you out of the car, all that kind of stuff like that. This is a horrible idea, y'all. The council did not come to a consensus on how to move forward. Instead, moving to open the topic for further discussion at a later date. Gutierrez said he would withdraw the motion for now, with plans to bring it forward again later with more details and specifics in the language. I would love to hear from police officers, like this, or a criminal defense attorney. Maybe I need to reach out to Fit Lawyer. Let me see if Fit Lawyer is available. I need her to jump on. I would love to hear what would the Fit Lawyer, or what would a lawyer say about this. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. All right. Yeah, I would love to hear what a lawyer would say, or law enforcement in general. Like, this is going to change their training and make it just crazy. All right. Yeah, reach out to Kurt. Sure, I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear what Kurt has to say about this. So yeah, I think this is a really bad idea. I thought it was a bad idea when I saw it, but now I'm reading it again. I'm like, this is a super bad idea. Hey, let's just hear what they gotta say. All right, where's that? Hold on.
Just cannabis decriminalization on reducing punishments for cannabis possession. The reduction of punishment would include possible community service and a less than $40 fine if someone is found with less than an ounce of cannabis.
How did they
City
get
Council did not come to a consensus on how to move forward. They did actually decide, though, to continue the discussion at
4600.
Wait, what happened? Let me back. All right, we're gonna call this
This
all right, we'll try
is
this again.
local. Channel 2 Action News. We have new investigations
We'll call
that
this
get
a
results. Live in the loop,
user
we're getting
error.
solutions for families.
Here in Lithonia, these neighbors know this story inside and out.
New answers about what's happening in College Park. What's your response to the allegations against
For some reason or another, the
These
app
are the
is
stories
running in
that
the background, but it won't. It won't open up for y'all to see it. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna have to stop that because it's just playing in my ear. All right, real quick, let me see. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. All right, let me I just asked a fit lawyer. What did Mandy just hit me up? All right, Kurt could jump on. I love it. We'll talk about it either way. I love it. Let me get the link back up so we can talk about it. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea why the link wouldn't play. But anyway. Okay, got it. We're ready now. All right. So I just hit up with Fit Lawyer as well as hit Kurt. Okay, one of them. That'd be cool. I'd love for him to come up and talk about this and kind of go over this. Maybe we'll start over again. Just kind of set the stage. We just set the stage. This is a preview discussion. All right, let's see. Fit said it. She was in kind of last minute. All right, I apologize. I know it was last minute. That was me. I should have reached out when I saw it earlier. All right, here we go. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is a what other states have legalized the devil's lettuce, the Mary Jane, Puff the Magic Dragon? What other states? Let me see that. What other? Okay. Ooh. All right. So asking my office assistant, it says that fully decriminalized Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut. Wow. Oh yeah, Georgia is definitely in the very shrinking minority. In Georgia, recreational usage of the devil's lettuce remains illegal at the state level. However, several cities and counties have enacted local ordinances to decriminalize possession of small amounts, reducing the penalties and fines. So these cities are Atlanta, Savannah, Macon, Bibbs, Athens, South Fulton, Clarkston. These are not ones that y'all know about. Tybee Island and East Point. That is such a terrible thing to read. I didn't know that. So almost everywhere that there's a college, they've almost decriminalized it. No, yeah, Statesboro, yeah. Just about everywhere there's a college. I am not a fan of that. I am not a fan. That is horrible, man. That is horrible. Okay, Mandy says North Carolina never will. Okay, let's check real quick. Let's see. Is North Carolina on the list? North Carolina is not. North Carolina's on the list. What are you talking about? States with decriminalized wacky tobacco. Hold on. Don't be, look, all that pride. Look at that, Mandy. All that showboating. All that. And look, I'm not even talking to you, child.
But you said everywhere with a college.
Here in Georgia.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm letting you know that even though, and you were just talking about North Carolina, so simmer down.
North Kakalaki is right there, Mandy. Y'all might as well go on and get Willie Nelson to be your spokesperson. There it is, right there. Everybody put NC in the chat so Mandy can feel that way. Well, thank you, my love. I am very proud of you. I don't want you to smoke. Okay, well, I don't want you to be messing with any of the other stuff.
I will not
Flood the chat with NC so Mandy can know.
I will not smoke.
I don't know, Mandy. You tell us, Mandy. But your state is on the list. It says decriminalization typically means that possession of small amounts of the devil's lettuce is treated as a civil infraction rather than a criminal offense, often resulting in a fine without jail time. States that have decriminalized the Mary Jane include all the way down here, North Carolina. So yeah, don't be over here too proud, see? I don't know. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we know that we know what Mandy, see, now we know that you don't be voting on these referendums. See, this is a state referendum that you should have been voting on. We know it now. It's so crazy, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think this is a horrible idea. I am not a fan. I am not a fan. And I'm a former libertarian. And I will tell you, libertarians believe in that. But my goodness, in the morning, this is one of the reasons why I left libertarianism. Like, I can't. The long tail of libertarianism will have you in anarchy. Yeah, just this is not going to work. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Shout out to Kennesaw. Well, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So I'm going to give it at least another 2 years before they bring it back up, or at least till this next year, because they got an election coming up. So hopefully they'll smarter people will prevail. But I'm a little bit surprised Atlanta just let that slide by. Well, actually, I don't know why I'm be surprised at all. Why am I surprised? Really, Jason? Why are you surprised? I don't know why I'm really surprised. All right, I'm sorry about that. I'm just replying to my sister. Sent me a message. All right. All right, I'm sorry. There we go. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for rocking with me. I appreciate it so much. Okay, let me do this. I did say that I was going to drop those last 5 memberships. Shout out to all the new members. And if you are given a membership, please make sure that you stop by the membership tab in the community post to find out how to join our Discord, all that kind of good shenanigans, and all of that good benefits that come with it. So let's do that real quick, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I do have a couple of questions. Maybe we'll do like a Q&A. Maybe we'll do a Q&A. I got a few minutes left. All right, let's do this. Bang. Welcome to the new gang members. Shout out to the new gang members. There we go. Shout out to them all. I appreciate it. Look at some good folk that have been added to the gang, then got jumped in. Shout out to them. Welcome to the gang. All right, what I'm going to ask is, you know what? I'll do it in a community post. I'm going to put up a community post just to ask some other idea. I did ask yesterday about Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee, Locals, and Substack. What type of other platforms? 'Cause I do need to make sure that I'm extending the Dear Woke Christian Nation outside of YouTube. So I do want to make sure I'm doing that and being consistent. And I found if I create a Substack or I have a Patreon or whatever, that it'll keep me consistent in doing so and doing that and building that community off YouTube. So I did put that community post up there. If you didn't see it, please go check it out. That's for everybody, of course. And then I will make a community post this evening about just some other topics that have come up, that have come down the pike. I would love to know, do y'all like these type of content? Do you like these types of videos? So on and so forth. So I will be putting that up shortly, and just want to pick your brains and see what you all think about it and get your thoughts, get your overwhelming opinion on the topics, if you will. But that's it. I'm gonna get ready to bug out of here. What's up, Creole? How are you? Good evening to you. Grace and peace to you. All right. I am going to get ready to bug out. You know what? I'll give a few minutes before we do that. Any questions? Any questions? Drop a question in the chat. Put question in front of it and just drop your question in the chat. Maybe we'll do a little quick Q&A as we are rounding these bases. We got a fun week planned. Just dropped Chief Executive Secondborn off at camp. President Firstborn starts, I think she officially starts her internship tomorrow, I think, or maybe she's doing like an orientation still. I know she did orientation last week. I don't know if it official starts today or not. I mean, tomorrow or not. Lady Dear World Christian got a lot going on. We got a lot happening over here. My child has been texting me talking about she won't smoke. She's hilarious. I love that kid. All right, let's see. I'm not sure why my family has decided they want to text me now that I'm on live stream. That's my people. But everybody, I want to say thank you again. Thank you so much for checking out the videos. Thank you so very much to all of my members as well as supporters. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching the videos, commenting, liking, and of course, of sharing. Oh, no, I'm not going to have empty nest syndrome at all. I am going to be more than happy. We're going to be very happy with it. I mean, it's time for them to go and be birds somewhere else. Go be a little bird somewhere. But we're looking forward to it. Me and my wife were talking about on the way back from dropping off Executive Secondborn. Like, man, you know what? We got like 36 months, 3 years. And we're going to have these rascals up out of here. These rascals up out of here. But either way, whatever happens, we'll be happy. Thank God that they've able to move on and do something great with their lives. So I'm looking forward to it for real. But everybody, I want to say thank you so much. I think we have some good stuff this week. It is June. Shout out to June, new month. Let's get at it. Let's get at it. I'm hoping and praying that we'll get you all some good content. I will be dropping, like I said, that community post shortly. Just kind of pick your brain, see what kind of content that you enjoy, if you don't mind. It'll be a poll type of situation. And then, of course, comment down below. It's always good when y'all do that. It means a lot. Uh, Girl says, I love my empty nest, but they still think they can grocery shop here. Oh, they can come grocery shop, man. Come get some of this food out of here. I'm okay with that. But they will be leaving soon enough, and I won't be mad when they do. But everybody, I want to say thank you so much. I will be back, Lord willing, tomorrow. I have some good stuff planned tomorrow. You got a busy week, so we'll see what happens. But I will make sure I'm still here, dropping videos, all that kind of good jazz. There will be some good content coming up that I believe you will enjoy. Come to wash day clothes. Man, you better take your clothes. I don't know now. I don't feel like I was initially. I was like, oh yeah, you can bring your clothes. You better wash them clothes at home. I mean, at school. You better not come up in here with some dirty clothes. Don't you dare. I know how janky I was when I was in college, though. So I hope they don't come back as janky as I was, because I was pretty janky. But that is what it is. So I appreciate what's going on. Bruce, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to get ready to pop and lock it. So let's do this again real soon. Lord willing, we'll do it again tomorrow. And I will tell you, as always, if something pops off soon enough, if they capture one of my Pookies or one of my Jim Bobs, we will be back to talk about it for sure. Otherwise, I'll see you all tomorrow. I will schedule a live stream for tomorrow night to kind of give an update if anything new pops off with the Orleans escape. But I do have some videos that are going up tomorrow morning as well. So that'll be a good time as well. So everybody have a fantastic evening. Hope you have a great Lord's Day. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.